Hey guys, so today's Friday. I've already done my Friday favorites, but I'm going to be going home this weekend to visit my parents with Stella. So I wanted to record one more video and get it up today since I'm not going to be uploading at all this weekend. So this next video that I'm going to be sharing with you guys is all about products that I've purchased that I pretty much regretted after purchasing. So things that I have used that really just don't work for me or that I just don't like. And I have some makeup, I have some hair care, I have some skincare products here. So I'm going to get started with the makeup stuff first. And the very first thing, and as soon as I was looking through my drawers, kind of gathering things up, this was like the first thing that I noticed. And this is the Physicians Formula Super BB All-in-One Beauty Balm Powder SPF 30. Now, I am a huge fan of Physicians Formula products, and when this one first came out, I was like, ooh, like a BB powder, that's going to be fantastic. Just because I don't necessarily like using a lot of cream products on my face. My skin's pretty oily, as most of you guys know, and so cream products just tend to make me a little bit nervous. But when I saw that they had a powder BB powder, BB powder, I got all excited. So they only had a couple of options. They had this light medium and a medium one, at least at the time that I purchased this, which was, I want to say in the spring, and it was right when this stuff was released. So I picked up the light medium because that was going to be the best fit. Came home, tried it out. This is just one of those products that I instantly knew, like, this just is not really going to work for me. It's totally the wrong color. It's way too dark, and it's the wrong tone. When I applied it, it turned my skin very pink, and I have a lot of yellow undertones in my skin naturally, and so it just made the skin on my face look very different from the skin on the rest of my body. And it's so powdery and so cakey. And no matter how lightly I applied it, it just looked like powder on my skin. On top of it, it was like, for some reason, you can't tell, but it looked like a shimmer explosion. It doesn't look like a shimmery powder, like when you're looking at it in the pan, but it just made me look like a disco ball. And that was like awful. Because I, like I said, have oily skin to start with, and it just like, it was a hot mess. It looked absolutely terrible. So I think I lost my receipt, and I ended up not bringing it back to Fred Meyer where I purchased it. I still have it hanging around, mostly just because I feel kind of bad throwing it away. I'm going to see if maybe it works on one of my friends' skin tones a little bit better. So I might give this away. It just didn't work for me. I always feel bad giving it to somebody else, but then I feel bad throwing it away. So it's just one of those things that like sits in my collection, because I think I paid full price for it, which I think was like $14.99. So that's kind of annoying, but anyway, so this was like a total regret for me. I don't recommend that product. The second, and this is going to be a huge surprise because you guys know how much I love the Lorac shadows. This is a Lorac eyeshadow palette that I purchased from Ulta. I want to say it was a year and a half ago. And it was one of those special edition, I think it was only like 20 bucks. And it was like exclusive to Ulta. And I love everything Lorac. So I immediately snatched it up without even really looking at the tester that was out. And my goodness, like, these are the worst shadows, which is so hard for me to say because I love her eyeshadow formula. I think it's the best out there. But you can tell this is just one of those cheap palettes that, like, I think they just get eyeshadow from some random place, slap it in a palette, and put their logo on it and call it like a special edition palette. This is why it makes me so nervous when they have those Lorac eyeshadow palettes on Haute Look that are listed as like limited edition or you know, like they're just smaller palettes. The eyeshadow quality in those is absolutely different. I have seen a lot of the eyeshadow palettes that they have on sale on Haute Look at my local Nordstrom rack. Haute Look, by the way, is a Nordstrom company. So I have tried some of those at Nordstrom Rack, and it's absolutely, I don't know where she gets these shadows from, but they are not the same shadows that she puts in the Pro palette or, you know, into any of her like more mainstream palettes that she sells at Sephora or Ulta. So these particular ones, like, I don't know if you can tell with this one here, but do you see how it's like got lumps and bumps in it? It's not smoothly milled. These are not pigmented at all. Like, once you put this on, like, there's nothing to this. It's such a bright, vibrant color, but it just doesn't show up on my lid. It certainly doesn't show up when you use it with a brush, which is not the case, like I said, with most Lorac eyeshadows. The singles that I have, the palettes that I have that I purchased at Ulta or Sephora, like the Private Affair palette, the Pro palette, the Little Black Book, completely different quality. So I would say if you see a Lorac eyeshadow palette like this that is like one of those special edition, like super cheap, it's super cheap for a reason, because it's a completely different quality of eyeshadow. So I stay away from those now. I think you get what you pay for there. So just be kind of leery on that when you see that kind of stuff on the Haute Look website. It's not the same quality, so don't waste your money necessarily. Do a little bit of research. The last makeup item is something that I actually showed in my Perfect Palette tag video, and it's the Tarte Big Thrill Holiday Collection. I think this was last year. It may have been the year before. So I bought this because I thought the eyeshadows were going to be really pretty. I also like the fact that it came with two blushes, a highlighter, and a bronzer. And it came with some lip glosses. I don't have any beef with the glosses or the cheek products in here. What I have beef with is that these eyeshadows absolutely sucked. I mean, they were terrible. The pigmentation on these is awful. And so this is like a really, really dark shade in the palette. Like, I mean, it looks like a cheap drugstore. Here's another really dark one. There's like no pigmentation. The pigmentation on these is super, super light. It's not something that applies with a brush, like, if that makes sense. If I were to really pack this onto my lids with a base and with my fingers, then I could get these products to work. But I don't want to have to do that. I don't have to do that with any of my other, like, high-end eyeshadow palettes. Tarte, I've always kind of had an issue with their eyeshadows. Like I said, there are lots of other Tarte products that I absolutely love, but their eyeshadows have always been kind of hit or miss for me. The ones in this particular palette were a total miss. Like, they're chunky. They are like glitter bomb explosions. They're just not good quality. So this was definitely a regret for me. Had I spent a little bit more time playing with it, I would have probably picked a different holiday palette to grab, or I would have just gotten a few individual blushes, because that was really kind of what also drew me into this palette, was the fact that it had some blushes with it. So anyway, that was definitely a regret. By the way, this video is probably going to be kind of long, so sorry about that. Let's move to some hair care items. So the Bumble and Bumble Thickening Shampoo and Conditioner. As you can see, I'm finally nearing the bottom. The conditioner's right about here. The shampoo is right about here. So I have about a quarter of each left of the bottle. I purchased this because in the past I've always loved the Bumble and Bumble Gentle Shampoo and I believe it's called the Rich Conditioner. They're in the yellow bottles, or kind of orange yellow bottles. Love the smell of Bumble and Bumble products. They have kind of this like honeysuckle This one has like a honeysuckle, slightly medicinal, which sounds weird, but it has always smelled good to me. I really like the smell of these products, and I picked these up at Sephora and almost regretted the purchase instantly, but I thought maybe I was using them wrong, or I don't know what I thought. I guess I was just like, this is Bumble and Bumble, this can't be a bad product. And so I just kept using it and using it. And finally, when I got halfway through, I was like, this product really does suck. And by that point, a few months had gone by and I wasn't going to return a product to Sephora. So then I was stuck with these. And I have such a hard time using this up. I'm definitely going to be using it up because these are very expensive just by themselves. I want to say somewhere in like the $20 to $25 range for each. So they're not cheap, and it's only 8 ounces of each. So I've had this for over a year now. I'm trying to force my way through them, but the problem is that it's just so drying on my hair. Like when I use both of these together, my hair feels like straw afterwards. It's hard to comb through. It's just, you can feel that it just sucks all of the moisture out of my hair. I've never had a shampoo and conditioner set do that. Even when I've used like the cheapest drugstore, like Suave or White Rain, like shampoos and conditioners, like I haven't had that experience with my hair. Like these are just so harsh on my hair. I bought the thickening because I thought, you know, like I have pretty fine limp hair. And by the way, I do have some dry shampoo in here right now, so that's why I look a little powdery. But I figured, you know, I have such fine, thin hair. This has to be a good product for me, and it just is not. I really don't recommend either one of these. So drying, so bad for my hair. I can tell that it strips the color out of my hair. You know, when I'm looking to get rid of some color, that's when I use both of these together, and then I have to use some kind of crazy, like, deep conditioner the next day because it just dries my hair out so much. But yeah, just not good. Not good. And it's Bumble and Bumble, and it's so expensive. So that was definitely a huge regret for me. Another regret was the Joyco Body Lux thickening conditioner. Again, this is another one of those things where I was like, oh, I need a thickening conditioner because my hair is really fine and limp. Just weighed my hair down. I have so much of this left. I think I've only used about to here. And again, it was another one of those products. I bought this at Ulta and I used it, didn't like it, didn't use it for a really long time, would try it again. It was every time I was like, this weighs my hair down. And it's not that I'm not rinsing it enough or anything like that. Like I know how to use shampoo and conditioner, but it just isn't the best fit for my hair. So this was a definite regret for me. And again, by the time that I realized that I wanted to take it back, it was too late. So, I don't know. I feel like I should use it. I might just put this like in my guest bathroom and maybe it'll work better for some of my guests. I don't know. It smells good and it's Joyco, so it should be a decent product, but it just didn't work for my hair. Another hair care product is the Biosilk Silk Therapy. And this is something that, oddly enough, my mom used to use when I was in high school. And I think I just like the smell of it, so I bought it. And it weighs my hair down like crazy. I don't know how anyone uses this. It's probably kind of like the what is that stuff? Biosilk? No, that's what this is. I'm having the biggest brain fart moment. I bet this is very similar to that. It's too heavy for my hair. I don't know how much I paid for this, but I bet it was somewhere between $20 and $25, and I cannot use it on my hair. It is way, way too oily, and it makes my hair look like I just coated it in like Crisco. It's awful. And I'm reading through the ingredients here, and I think the reason is because this contains dimethiconol, which is obviously a silicone. So, and that's one of the main ingredients. that's why this is not good for my hair. But I wish that I would have just thought about it a little bit more. It does say that you can use this on your hair or your skin. I may just use this like on my legs after I shave them. It would probably be good for that, because it is like, it does certainly add a nice sheen. It's just not the kind of sheen that I want for my hair. So I don't recommend something like this if you have fine or thin hair. It's way too heavy. So another bummer product. Another skincare product, or I guess my first skincare product here, is the VitaK Professional Spider Veins. It's like a cream that is supposed to help your little spider veins disappear. So on your legs, if you have them, I have them. So when I was pregnant with Stella, I was working 2 basically full-time jobs. I was running my business, and I was also still working full-time at my like day job at the time. And both jobs required me to be up and running around and just like very busy all the time. And that was hard on my legs because I was carrying around a lot of extra weight from being pregnant. I got pretty big when I was pregnant. I didn't gain a lot of weight, but it was just like heaviness from my belly, and just, you know, I mean, I put on like 25 pounds. So like carrying around an extra 25 pounds it put a lot of pressure on my legs, especially the little spider veins in my legs, and they just spread like crazy. I used to only have one little tiny patch on the side of my thigh. And when I got pregnant and towards the end of my pregnancy, they just spread like wildfire. And so I was stuck with these ugly little spider veins on the side of my leg, and I was like, there's something that I like have to be able to put on this to like make it look better. So I'd heard that vitamin K cream is something that actually helps the appearance of those. So and I do know that there are lasers available. I didn't want to take that step quite yet because I know that's expensive, but I think that's honestly what I'm going to have to do, because I can tell you that this did not work. I used pretty much all of this. Like I'm almost... like I maybe have like a little tiny bit left. It made no impact on my spider veins at all. And you're supposed to basically apply a generous amount, kind of massage it into that area until it's thoroughly absorbed. And 4 to 6 weeks, you're supposed to be able to see some pretty good results. I never saw a gosh darn thing with this. And it was hard for me to find this as well. So anyway, this was a total dud. I don't know, there might be other vitamin K creams out there that work better, but this one did not work for me. Skincare product for my face. This is from the Body Shop. This is the Seaweed Clarifying Night Treatment for Combination Oily Skin. This made me break out like a mother. Oh my gosh. The first night that I used this, I woke up the next morning and it was like Zit City. Like... middle school grade breakouts. Like middle school was when I really was like breaking out quite a bit. My hormones were like wee crazy, and I dealt with a lot of breakouts then. Once I got into like high school and college, it was like it wasn't nearly as bad. But when I woke up that next morning, first night of using this, I was like, oh my god, what the hell happened to my face? It was that bad. But I didn't put 2 and 2 together. So I kept using this for another couple of weeks, and I just kept breaking out and breaking out. And finally I was like, well, maybe it's like that stuff from the Body Shop that I've been using. So I stopped using it. Within like 2 weeks, everything was completely cleared up. So by that point, I had lost the receipt, and I felt like a jackass because, again, a couple of weeks had gone by, and I should have just taken it back as soon as I started breaking out. But again, it took me a while to kind of put 2 and 2 together, and I just felt dumb returning it at that point. So this was absolutely terrible. I haven't tried anything else from their seaweed line since then. I tried a couple of products from the tea tree line, and that works great for my particular skin, but this, even though it was specifically designed for combination and oily skin, I don't know what went wrong, but it was awful. The reason that I purchased this, by the way, was because the sales associate convinced me that it would help to control my oil. It would be a good like nighttime oil controlling treatment that would kind of balance things out. No, didn't control my oil and it made me break out. Last thing, the Hope in a Jar from Philosophy. So this is a product that, oh my goodness, of course I lost the little lid thing. This is a product that so many people love and swear by. Ooh, I don't like this. I tried so many times, and you can tell because I used quite a bit. I tried so many times to use this and to try to make it work. First off, the smell is atrocious. I know that they don't really use a lot of heavy fragrances in a lot of their skincare items. So this is probably just the natural smell of the ingredients all together. They claim that it's like a fresh smell. It's not fresh. It just smells like bad chemicals, with like rotting egg mixed in there. That's a weird description, but that's totally what it smells like to me. And this made me break out. Oh my gosh, this was another one of those products where I was using it and I was breaking out, and I was like, it couldn't possibly be from this, because the sales associate at Sephora was like, no one ever breaks out from this. It's amazing. It's holy grail. It's like the standard for like a face cream. No. And because they were just like so adamant about this like being the most amazing product ever, I felt like a jackass bringing it back. So I never did. I should have, because it's kind of expensive. But it just, oh man, it's bad. I tried to even give this away to some of my friends, and they were like, no thanks, after they smelled it. It smells bad. It made me break out. It was just a crap product for me. I realized that this might be amazing holy grail product for some of you out there, and it could be with any of these things. Like, I don't mean to offend anyone if like any of these products worked really well for you, but just for me, they were like complete and utter duds. Like, so disappointing. And especially with the ones that I spent a fair amount of money on, I'm always like, ugh, like, why didn't I just take it back? Like, why didn't I just take these products back? In most cases, I lost the receipt, or it just was using or trying to use them for so long that like I just couldn't justify going back to the store a month or two later and being like, oh yeah, it turns out I don't actually really like this. So anyway, I try to be better about it now. If I really don't like something, I try to return it within a week or two after I purchase it. But yeah, I'm sure that everybody has products where they're like, oh my God, this was like the biggest mistake, and it was a really expensive mistake, and that's like always a bummer. So if you have something like that, definitely leave me a comment down below and let me know what, one or two of like your biggest mistakes were in terms of like purchases for skincare, hair care, or makeup products. I'd be very curious to read some of your guys' comments about that. So if you have additional questions for me about any of the products that I showed you guys here, definitely leave me a comment below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.